Treatment integrity is the other side of this, and it is one of the most important things when you implement any type of plan into an environment. Really, the level to which the prescribed plan is followed as per the recommendations is treatment integrity, or procedural fidelity that Brett mentioned. It's generally provided in a percentage. You know, you ran the plan at 70%. It can be general, it can be specific. I usually start out with a real general setup for treatment integrity. Follows current schedule of reinforcement. I don't even have to necessarily note this. Responds to problem behavior A, uses all antecedent interventions, responds to feedback appropriately. All of these things that I have on my list, I can do generally. Sometimes I have to customize it to make it more specific to fit the needs of the plan or the staff members. Sometimes I have to put little cheat hints throughout the environment as far as how to follow the plan correctly. Usually it's not writing things on their underwear, but some people need that prompt to know what to do. And I'll maybe tape something up on the wall, or I always have a real quick reference guide list of the plan on the clipboards or any of the data collection pieces, so that they can easily reference all of my recommendations. If something is more easily accessed and there's less response effort, there's an increased chance that they're going to actually do that. When it comes to treatment integrity, understanding what is really a typical level of treatment integrity that you're going to see in an environment is really important when you write a plan. So I took a lot of my data from treatment integrity. It was actually from last school year in 4 different environments, and I averaged all of my treatment integrity scores to determine, what about, and it was about 52 samples, I think, that I took and I averaged to get a mean treatment integrity for a sample throughout the year. And my mean treatment integrity for the plans being run in different environments, home, school, private school, was 71%. You might say, that's not too good, man. 71 is not great. But I was actually pretty happy with that. It's really easy to not run a plan correctly. It's much more difficult to, in fact, run a plan correctly. But when you understand the differences in the types of interventions that you put in place, you can properly use the right interventions if you expect treatment integrity failures. Vollmer and company in 1999 did a study to determine what was the resistant to treatment integrity failures for a DRA procedure, differential reinforcement of alternative behavior. It's where you reinforce a specific behavior and put the problem behavior on extinction. He found that as long as you were hovered around 50% treatment integrity for a DRA, it was still effective. It's an awesome, awesome article. I really, really, really recommend you read it. He followed up with another one on DRO. Anybody want to take a guess on what the percentage was that you had to run a DRO at for treatment integrity for it to be effective? Anybody? 75? Any other takers? Oh, 25. We got 25 up front here. What else? Anybody else? 40. 90%. You have to run DROs at 90% for them to be effective. And yet it's usually in our back pocket as one of the first things that we go to, not reinforcing the problem behavior, but reinforcing the absence of problem behavior or omission. Those numbers are staggering. If you expect 90% treatment integrity out of your staff, that's amazing. You have phenomenal staff. That's not something that I always walk into in an environment where I know people are going to function at 90% treatment integrity. I expect around 60, 70%, so I have to have my plan fit my expectations and what my data says. The DRA is an extremely, extremely useful way to do that. You might have a little bit more difficult time getting started and getting some momentum with a DRA, but it's going to be vastly superior in a lot of circumstances. I'm not saying all circumstances to a DRO. Kind of like